Welcome to the Earthborne Games Podcast. I'm your host, Andres Carlson. We're all back. This is the normal crew. We've got Evan Simonet, Visual Design Director.
Hey.
Maxine Newman, Lead Game Designer.
Hello.
Andrew Fisher, Game Design Director.
We just had to put the titles in our thing, and we can get them
Every time.
And Founder and Creative Director, Andrew. What's your last name again?
Why don't you guys gonna have our full names in the little window now from now on.
Andrew Navarro, welcome back. I haven't seen you guys in so long.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's good to see you again, Anders.
Yeah. We had a good time last time looking at some Eidolon art.
I loved that episode. It was really
Me too.
It was really fun.
What did you love about it?
I just loved like you were saying, like the before and after of like showing the the concept and then showing where it landed, and it got me thinking about like kind of like that episode and like the music episode, like I felt were like really the soundtrack episode. I thought were really great. So I was thinking the other day, I was like, what other episodes could we do that Anders would find particularly intriguing?
It's because it tickled my fancy more than these episodes.
I think it contributes. Well, no, just because you're definitely like it made it more interesting to watch too for me. I felt. No, I thought it was awesome. But it got me thinking, and because I think that would be a fun way to like try to get creative about the thing. Like, how do we talk about what we do? To try to think of ways to pique your interest. Make a little game out of it.
I think my favorite part was at the very end when Anders, you said, "Oh, I actually enjoyed that," or something. He said something. He said something which made it seem like you were dreading it or something.
Well, I mean, the last few episodes, I did feel a little like stage fright or something in between or before the show. But I love that stuff. Like in process, documentaries have always, like since I was a little kid, I remember watching, the Wonderful World of Disney.
Oh yeah,
on ABC, I think. Like Saturday nights, they'd have showing how the animators did their stuff. Love that stuff.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, one of the books I took out of the library many times as a kid was The Making of Terminator 2, and seeing all the cool prosthetics and props and stuff they employed for that. So I hear you.
I think you hit on it there about what makes those two episodes especially more interesting, which is that like we can really show off the kind of creative product and then like talk about the process and show all the steps. We do that a little bit with the game design, but like we're not really showing off the game design. Like people are coming with their questions from having experienced it elsewhere, so we're not like showing the creative product here in the same way. So I thought it was especially cool, like with Tom getting to dive into a discipline that we don't normally do too, was very cool.
Yeah, totally.
Who doesn't love a before and after shot? Like we could have just swiped through those for hours.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll do some more of those down the road. I think that'd be fun. We do commission and work on a lot of artwork.
Yes. We have a lot of artwork in the pipeline.
So much.
There's a lot of opportunity. We were just looking at Joe's concept sketches for the next campaign expansion this morning. And man, they're so good.
So cool.
Nice.
I think they're like his best batch of concepts. They were really phenomenal. So yeah, very much looking forward to sharing those sometime in a year from now.
I'm sure. He has some cool concepts in there, but I gotta say, some of his Eidolon concepts are my favorite. I think.
Oh sure.
I think some of Joe's sense of humor comes through even more. I think the nature of Eidolon as a setting lets him joke around with his concepts a bit more, and I love it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. He has a pretty goofy sense of humor that can come through in those pieces in a way that it can't in Rangers. That's for sure.
Yeah, good job, Joe. After the fact, I felt like everybody was oohing and eyeing at the finished pieces, and I, being me, I'm so sensitive to how everybody's feeling. I was like, did Joe feel slighted? But I think he did well. And my favorite part of the show is the very, very, very last second of the show. Go back and watch it and look at Joe's face. He does something that just made me laugh. I kept rewinding it over and over again.
I gotta check that out.
Like when everybody's saying goodbye, watch what he does. I don't know what he's doing, but it's hilarious. It made me realize, he's kind of a goofy guy.
He's a very goofy guy. He's actually, we were just talking this morning, he's going to be coming up to the Twin Cities the second week in July. So
nice.
Cool.
So yeah, maybe we could get together with him. Or he'll be staying with me, so maybe we can get together with you.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Fisher, I can tell that you're trying to watch it right now. And it's more so, it's also it's actually the sound he makes is the kicker.
Oh, all right. Well, I have it on mute right now. I'll watch it later.
I'm gonna pull it up right here so you guys don't have to go back. I'm gonna insert a clip.
Okay.
I dabbled with that last episode. I doubt that you watched the episode, Maxine, but
I saw your little edit there.
I actually haven't yet.
My first edit in the podcast.
Oh, interesting. I did a lot of listening of that podcast. Like I had it on while I was working, so I didn't watch everything. So I probably missed it.
I forgot to.
Now I have to go watch, and I'll watch the whole thing again.
Not worth it.
I don't know. It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
It was. Oh, that's true. It is a good episode.
Yeah, I think it's worth watching again. Watch it again.
I forgot to mention that Maxine was gone, so I edited that in.
Oh.
Evan, what's on your hat? I want to know.
Oh, it's just like a Hawaiian restaurant or something. Chris Beck, who is an artist that has done some Rangers art for us, he got this for me when he went to Hawaii years ago.
Wow.
And I just found it recently, so.
Nice.
What a good friend.
What does it say? Fellas? Fellas?
Bubba's? Maybe it says Bubba's.
Bubba's.
I should know, but...
Well, we've got a show full of questions that Andrew is really excited to answer.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's referencing there's so many questions for the show.
Yeah, there are a lot. Yeah, it's been a while since we've really dived into all the, especially all the Rangers questions. Yeah, the mailbag.
Thank you. Please call it the mailbag, henceforth.
All right.
But first, what's happening? We're going to talk about what's happening at the Earthborne Rangers headquarters in St. Paul, Minnesota. Is that where you'd say you're headquartered?
Yeah, I mean that's technically where the business address is my house. So
all right, in northern St. Paul. So what's happening? What do you want to talk about?
What is happening? Fisher, do you want to give the Game Found recap?
Sure. We had a little Game Found that wrapped up. Was that last week or the week before?
The week before.
I think it was the week before.
Yeah, 2 weeks from yesterday.
We ended at about 375?
Yeah,
somewhere around 376, something like that. Yeah.
Which I think ended up pretty good. We've got a nice solid base of kind of early players, and we ended up posting a 2-player playcast of Eidalon as well as a 4-player playcast that showed off some actual constructed decks instead of just the free preview decks that people have seen. So if by some chance you haven't checked those videos out, you should go check them out. We had a lot of fun filming them.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up also doing, we did not film this one, but as the campaign came into a close, we got together and we played a 5-player game, which was pretty cool. we actually, I don't think we were fully mentally prepared for, what is it, overtime mode?
End game.
End game mode.
Oh
that's
yeah,
it.
end game. Yeah.
And so we had like gotten together to kind of celebrate the end of the campaign and everything, and then end game mode kept rolling, and we're like, we got done with lunch and we're like, it's still going. So we played a game of Eidolon, and it came to a close while we were wrapping
I think
up that
pretty much
game,
right
so.
when we finished the game.
I was gonna say that, like, if we kept playing, it might have just kept going, you know.
So it's my fault.
Yeah, you won.
Curse
It's
you
your
for
fault.
winning. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a kind of neat feature. I thought it was pretty fun, but I was also ready for it. I was like, it kind of like takes away from the finality of it a little bit, like like going, "Yay, and we're done," and you just kind of have to wait for whenever it ends. So there's something about that. It feels a little bit weird, but it was cool to see the pledges keep rolling in. That was pretty awesome.
But yeah, so that's about it. I think. Do we have any other Eidolon updates for the
I
people?
don't think so. Yeah, apart from we started doing playtest. We did a big call for playtesters, and
oh yes,
that went exceptionally well. Got a ton of responses. Like I don't know exactly how many, but it was like maybe 150 or it was a lot.
Jeez.
And I think we just eventually just kind of shut it off because we got so many.
We're good,
so
we're good.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. We're going to be going into a new a round of testing with the current set, and we're going to be trying out some stuff we've been mulling over. So I'm excited to see how people respond to that. And we have printed copies here in the cities, so like we have like 6 full printed copies of the first set in its prototype form. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I've been playing that with my son Sam, and that's been really cool. Yes, it's a fun game. This just in, it's very fun. We've having a really good time with it.
And yeah, thank you to everybody who signed up to playtest. We obviously, we can't take everybody. We want to keep the group. You know, we get a pretty large group. We also want to keep it in a scope where we can kind of engage with everybody and process all the feedback reasonably. So,
and we always do additional rounds. Like anyone who's put their name in now and isn't in the first round, like just wait. You'll get your shot. I'm almost certain.
Exactly. We will be pulling in more testers throughout time. So if you didn't make this kind of first cut, it doesn't mean you're off the team necessarily. It's just that we need to kind of keep it limited for each phase of testing.
Yeah.
How are they testing? Are they on what? If they're not here in the cities?
Oh yeah, well, so most people play on Tabletop Simulator. We upload cards there, but we also just share the PDFs. So some people print it all out, who just prefer to play physically. Actually, honestly, with Rangers at least, especially Rangers is like pretty intensive as far as just card count and different unique cards compared to Eidolon. A surprising number of our Rangers testers did it physically and printed everything out. So it's kind of a mix of those two.
Yeah, we have some Rangers testers who print everything out, and then anytime there's an adjustment, they'll actually like write it in, so they don't have to reprint it out.
They also provide their own illustrations, don't they?
That's right.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
So they're just kind of a survey at the end, and they give their feedback.
Yeah, there's usually a combination. We'll do a Discord where people can kind of talk. We like to be able to kind of simulate, actual play when the game comes out. We'll have people conversing, so it's kind of good to see what strategies emerge from kind of groupthink type situations. But then we also have a survey for people to reply after each play session, and we collect some data that's pretty easy for us to process that kind of shows what people are choosing to play, win rates, that kind of thing. And then, obviously more kind of qualitative feedback of just people's impressions of certain cards and things.
Sweet.
Let's see. What else we got here?
UK.
Oh yes. Fulfillment. So we're getting very, very close to getting fulfillment really back up and running in the States for the Earthborne Rangers second printing campaign. I think all of the shipments to our U.S. fulfillment centers have been received. So I think that was like 2 truckloads to Gamerati on the West Coast and 3 truckloads to Flying Cloud in Maryland, which is a lot. That's a lot of product moving. But I've been waiting to do an update until I knew for certain when stuff was going to start going out. I thought I'd get like we're good to go. You should post from our logistics partner today, but I did not get that. He's like, they have to just like let them get everything, and then they'll figure it out, and then I'll let you know. So, man, we're so close. I know the Canada shipment went out also, so yeah, we're getting very, very close. So if it's not like within the next couple of days, like hopefully next week, that we'll actually get going. But we will still send out an update to to all backers to let them know specifically when that happens. But people are getting their orders changed to what is like
preparing to ship.
Is that what it's saying now?
Yeah,
that's right. You have an order, so you know.
Yeah.
So people are getting like little clues and getting excited because it's getting close. So I'm getting excited. I can't wait. And let's see on the European side, we should be wrapping up with production here in the next 2 to 3 weeks, I think. Frank at Ludo, our account rep, hasn't given me a date, but he keeps saying like end of month, beginning of June, which to me says like probably the first week of June. All of the expansions will be assembled and shipped out. Though we did ship some stuff to the UK, to Spiral Galaxy, to prepare for UK Games Expo, where Fisher, Corey, and Rob and I will be next week. So we'll be selling some things there, and we're also going to be shipping core game only pledges in the UK, I think starting next week. So little extra bonus for UK backers, and we'll have some product at the show.
Yeah, and you can come see us in at booth.
Or did you look it up? Our booth number?
370 in hall. What is it, 4A? So
no, that's not right. It's 3A, I think.
3A? 3A, right? 370. We are
where were we chatting about that? Was that in our
it's in the meeting. It's in the meeting chat on Discord.
Okay.
We're right at the corner of Knizia Avenue and Shut Up and Sit Down Street.
Yeah, essentially it's like we're at the back of the main hall, I think. We're in the same hall with the big Asmodee booth and the giant All About Games booth. We're like at the opposite end. But we're on an end cap. So it's a pretty nice spot, I think. It seems like it's a pretty nice spot. So I'm excited. It's excited to see people. My last time at UK Games Expo was quite the experience. I went there by myself and then just met business partners there. But this year, there'll be 4 of us, and we'll be demoing the games instead of it being done by Frank and Peter at Drawn to the Flame. So yeah, it'll be super fun, and we'll have 2 tables of Eidalon. So we'll have room for 12 players is the plan. And then we'll have 1 table of Earthborne Rangers, and it'll all be first come, first served, just like we did at PAX.
Yeah, I don't know if I do as good of job as Drawn to the Flame did, but come demo with me.
Yes, Fisher will be there. I'll be there too. I will be helping Mostly probably in relief, but I will be there, and I think Wayne O'Connor will also be there one of the days. So
Nice.
come and see artist Wayne O'Connor at the booth. I think on Saturday. So
Ooh,
we'll be sure to post on our social media stuff when he's there. If you want to come by and say hello, get some cards signed.
Yeah, we'll have to get him a nice big magic marker.
Yeah, I am bringing him a T-shirt. He did ask for one T-shirt since
cool.
Since our merch store is US only at the moment. And he ordered his shirt. His
small things.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good
That's
choice.
Cool. I was gonna say, Fisher, if I give you a couple of moments, will you have him sign them for me?
Oh yeah, of course.
Sweet.
He also has these. He publishes his own little visual novels, or I'm not sure what they're, little short stories.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool.
I should see if he's be willing to part with a few of them when he's there, and maybe one of you can bring them back for us because you might like those, Maxine. They're really cool.
Heck yeah.
He actually,
cool.
I have the first couple issues he gave me at some point. They're super cool. You could definitely kind of see the threads of style that go from that into our moment art.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Nice.
It's like I need to ask you to get me something from Wayne O'Connor now. His famous chili recipe.
The Irish, known for their chili.
Some haggis. So that will be
Scotland.
Okay. So that will be in UK, right? So go see them at UK.
Yep. Tiny little island.
Where is it? What city is it?
Birmingham.
Birmingham.
They say Birmingham, so I say Birmingham, like Nottingham. But then whenever I say Birmingham, they mean like Birmingham. But that makes me think of Alabama. Like Birmingham is a city in Alabama. Birmingham is in England.
Yeah. No, I know.
I have a lot of anxiety looking at those cities and being like, do I know how to pronounce that?
If it's in Wales, probably not.
I did, like, as I was booking stuff for after the show, because I'm doing some touristy stuff before we head home, like, I just kept chuckling to myself at how British everything, like, obviously the stuff has very British names, but just like,
how weird is that? England. Strange.
No, but like there's some pretty funny, like, I don't know, like names that you'd think would be like parodies of British spots.
Well, now you have to give an example.
Oh, okay, I'm not ready.
There's a video where someone was making fun of English or American terms for things like sidewalk, trash can. Just
instead of the bin.
Yeah,
the bin.
just how bland and straightforward our terminology is.
I do like Zed.
Yeah, I do like
Z. I do enjoy Zed. But I like math more than maths.
How about zebra? Do you like zebra?
They don't say zebra.
Yeah, they say zebra.
Yeah, well, there's probably just because of the accent, right? Do they really
zebra?
This could be a fun segment where we all talk about what we think happens over there, and then people can tell us how wrong we are.
That's right.
We're just losing British listeners as we speak.
Oh, we're gaining them.
Zoe Zebra.
Yeah.
Zoe Zebra is a character on Peppa Pig.
Oh, okay.
Though, yeah, I don't know. Did you find one, Fisher? Your silly locations?
He's not looking.
Tommy's Knob, or like weird.
Boot Under the Stone.
Is that a town?
I live over in Boot Under the Stone.
It's pronounced Boot Under Stone.
Well, yeah, it's like
Boot Under Stone.
Things upon things, like location upon location.
Yeah, I think that all the names over there are really cool. Like when I was in Scotland, I thought I thought a lot of the place names were just super badass. I couldn't pronounce any of them. They were wild combinations of letters that I was like, how does that even work? But they look cool.
I'm jealous. I'm jelly.
But they don't have as many parking lots as we do over here, so we got them beat there.
That's right. They have car parks.
We got about
Take that.
50% of the country is parking lots over here. So,
And the rest is prisons.
America.
what do they call parking lots over there?
Car parks.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Man, I could talk about this all night. Okay.
It's
right.
like a lamer, longer version of the scene in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah. And break. Shall we take some listener questions? Shall we open up the old Earthborne mailbag?
Well, I have one more thing that is happening, which
Oh,
is we have we have a new small release ahead of fulfillment getting underway for the new Rangers stuff. We have a small feature release for Rangers on the website. So I teased this a bit before the Eidalon game found, but we've had I mentioned a recurring character who had been working on something for us. So Darren the Dependable, who longtime listeners will know as the question asker who submitted questions for I don't even know how many episodes straight, like 50 episodes straight.
Yes.
Head Inquisitor.
Yeah, Darren has been a long time fan of Rangers. He's on the Discord, so many of you probably know him. He has been working on a new feature for our website. He's been taking the Valley map and the Arcology map from Legacy of the Ancestors and creating an interactive version of these. So these are maps that you can go on, zoom in on, scroll around on, click on any of the locations and bring up their Living Valley entry so you can navigate through the Living Valley and the journal entries through the map itself. And he's built in a sorting tool to highlight all of the locations based on the trait they have. So if you're looking for which locations have the trail trait to make your Explorer Traveler deck sing, you can use Darren's tool to highlight them all and make them all pop up for you. So that'll either might already be available based on when our web guy can get it up. It might already be available when this airs, or it'll be becoming available very, very soon. So keep your eye out for that. It's a super cool way to quickly navigate to all the different location entries. So make sure to check that out.
It's awesome.
Thank you, Darren.
Yes, thank you so much, Darren. He was awesome on it, and like when I sent it over to Travis, our web guy, he was effusive in his praise. He said, "Buy that guy a beer."
And send us a question, Darren. I miss your questions, Darren.
Yeah.
The Dependable. Okay, can we do it now?
We can.
Yeah. Go to your mailbag, Anders.
All right, it's time to open up the old Earthborne mailbag. Where is that dang bag? Okay, we're gonna start with some Rangers questions. First one comes from Alistair. My wife and I are looking forward to the new Rangers content, but we're not sure the best way to approach it. We could dust off our old decks from the core set campaign, or start afresh with new decks, making use of the new Ranger cards and classes. If we start with the new decks, should we replay the first campaign?
Totally. I mean, if you want to.
I mean, you can. But what is cool about the new campaign is it has the story so far little catch up thing, so that you can simulate having played through the core campaign without having to actually go back and replay it if you don't want to. So,
yeah, though the story so far gets you some of the stuff, but like if you have a pre-existing campaign guide with all the choices you made and stuff you unlocked, you should totally use that version.
Yeah, I agree. I think that makes it like a lot more like interactive and cool.
And to be honestly, like we don't necessarily give you rules for this, but if you want to have that campaign guide and then build a new deck and swap the rewards in from your pre-existing campaign guide, you can do that, right? Like we support Rangers dropping in and dropping out. So your ranger could drop out and a new ranger piloted by you again could drop in. So you can swap out. Well, we encourage people to stick with their characters and build them across the campaign. You could swap in a new deck if you really want to play that Spirit Speaker deck.
Yeah, I think that's been like a something that people have been very cognizant of. Is this we do give you new options to create your ranger, and I think they're like, well, what do we need to go back to the very beginning if I want to use a Spirit Speaker or like a Tail Spinner, or if I want to like include one of the aspirations in my deck, like how do I do that? So I think they feel like they gotta start afresh to do that. But yeah, like Fisher said, we just follow your heart. Do what you want to do. Like it's all good. If you want it, but if you want to just keep your like current character, your current ranger, and you wanted to like throw in one of the aspirations into that deck, do it. It's totally fine.
I think it's fun to play with your deck pretty fixed, but the moment between campaigns is a good moment. Like there's kind of the thematic justification of months passing between them, and that's a good point to do a little customization.
Yeah, totally.
That I don't think will feel jarring.
Isn't
there, absolutely not.
There's opportunities to just do trading in the game to like introduce new cards.
That too.
There's no way to get the aspirations. Or to like completely change your specialty set or your background set. Those options do not exist. But yes, you could do like a la carte stuff for sure with the tools, like the in-world tools that we provide you.
Mm-hmm.
There is one option in the expansion that lets you change something you've never been able to change before, though.
That's true. It lets you change a couple things you've never been able to change before. That's one of my that's one of my favorite bits of Sam's writing too. Like he crushed it in that for that little side activity. I can't wait for people to find it. I hope that they do and their minds are blown.
Alrighty, thank you, Alistair. We have another new questioner. No thanks. That's their name.
It's very very friendly.
Name, no thanks.
Like new people, no thank you.
Next. Okay. No, we're gonna go back. We got no thanks here. Asking, could you get a picture or some other way to quantify how many pallets / shipping containers / pounds of product Delano and or Ludafact have produced as part of the fulfillment? With 15.5 thousand backers, it would be really interesting to see the logistics of what they are dealing with in this phase of the project.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think we got something about the first shipment going out, like how many pounds it was, and we did some math, and I think
Chub Frog
did do.
Yeah, I think he said it was over 2 tons.
No, it's definitely over 2 tons. No, it's like
way over
180,000 pounds or something like that.
140,000
yeah, that's significantly more than 2 tons.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Is that 70 tons?
Something like that, yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So 140,000 is what is leaving Delano right now, or just left Delano and went to fulfillment centers. Yeah. So that's not even including the Ludafact stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a ton of stuff. Like I said, there's three separate trucks that went to, like semis that went to Flying Cloud, and one of those was just core games, just pallets of core games. Yeah, it's so much,
and that's 63,500 kilograms since we've been ribbing our British listeners today.
Right. Well, each core game is like almost 5.5 pounds. So we printed a lot. Yeah, I think at Delano we printed 20,000 copies, and then at Ludo 9,000. Should have printed 10. We just did 9. But that also includes the foreign language edition. So yeah, lots of copies. It's a ton. I wish we did have some photos of that, but unfortunately we don't have any. We don't have any photos to help bring that home. But just imagine 5 semis worth of Earthborne Rangers products going out of there in the last few days. That's quite a lot.
Very cool. Thank you. No thanks. Our next question. Thanks. No thanks. Our next question comes from D Cheds. A while back, Navarro. I don't know you guys are on a Navarro basis.
D-Cheds is always, playing fast and loose with our familiarity.
A while back, Navarro mentioned the difficulty of the image rights when using the likeness of backers in game artwork. Would it be similarly difficult to use the likeness of backers' pets?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think pets have likeness rights, but I could be wrong. I guess if a dog has an agent, they might have likeness rights.
If your dog's been in movies,
yes. Yeah. I would imagine. Who knows? Yeah, I have no idea how that works.
No clue.
No, I don't think so.
Are they referring to like if a reward is to put a backer in the game?
Yeah, well, just as an example, because we had to deal with this at FFG, because like one of the prizes you could get at FFG when you were like a champion in a particular competitive game is that you could get your art into like your portrait into the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing with staff too. Like once you hit 5 years, then you got an art piece of yourself in the game. Like Fisher's got one over his right shoulder there. Yeah, there's
nice. Too far away to grab.
I don't think I've ever seen that one before, Evan. That's awesome.
I had to pick it up after I left the company, so it was...
I hate mine, like, because the way it's framed, they cut off portions of the composition. It drives me nuts. I can't have it up. It's just going to drive me crazy. So if, for example, we were to, make a character out of your face, and then let's just say we end up doing like a TV show for Rangers, and we want to use that character like in a cartoon, like now, do you have any right? You might not care, but some people might be like, I don't want my face as that character. Like, well, it's the character. In order for us to be able to do that, we need the rights. So you got to essentially sign over your face to us so that we can do what we want with the art that we make. And that just gets complicated. Like, it's just not worth doing, in my opinion. But like at FFG, like we had to make a rule, because up until the point we made this rule, people were putting themselves in all sorts of things, like primarily Star Wars. So when we had the Star Wars license, like in the early days before it got like they got the more of their iron grip on what was happening with their property. Everyone was getting their art done in Star Wars. It was like, I want to be a Jedi, or like I want to be this cool like scum villain dude, or there's a lot of people doing that. So we had to change it so like that you did have to essentially sign away your face, and it had to be an owned property, which is why Evans is in Keyforge. And Fisher's is an Android, but I think I also chose Android, but I would have picked that anyway. Maxine, I think you did Arkham Horror, right? I can only assume.
So I actually have 2 5-year pieces because I had an old one that I don't like for reasons.
Yeah.
And that one was in Arkham Horror, and then they generously offered to do a new piece, and that one is in Android.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That one's sweet.
I think it's so like, good. Oh my god, I'm in love with it.
It's on Maxine. It's on your like social pretty recently too, right?
It's pinned on my Twitter. So if you search for me on Twitter, you can see it. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
It's rad.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you ever want to like just see a great like all of the FFG staff in a book, I think like the Worlds of Android has a ton. Oh no, so it's Shadow of the Beanstalk. That's what
Shadow
I'm
of the Beanstalk.
Of.
Yeah.
If you get the Genesis supplement Shadow of the Beanstalk, it's just like one page after another. It's like a yearbook practically. Of
the most iconic one is Jeremy Stomberg's Star Wars.
Yeah. Shooting back. Yeah, that one's awesome.
Lucky SOB.
Yeah, I know. He got in right under the wire.
I feel like the one I see the most is actually Sam Gregor Stewart, who did most of the writing for Rangers.
Yeah.
He's in Twilight Imperium, and he got his piece. He actually got commissioned in Twilight Imperium, independent of 4th edition getting made. But the piece was so cool, they ended up pulling it in and using it as the Federation of Soul, like, iconic piece. So when you play as the humans in Twilight Imperium, you're playing as Sam Gregor Stewart.
Yeah, totally. Nope. That was a very easy choice to do that, because it's an awesome piece. He looks great.
It is.
It's very tough.
Cool.
I don't know how tough Sam is in real life.
Tough as nails.
He doesn't have that cool facial scar.
No.
All right. Next question comes from SM Tilson. Or is it SMT Ilson? I don't know. Did you on purpose...
SM Tilson, I think.
SM Tilson.
Smiltson.
Smiltson. Son of Smiltson. Did you on purpose make Toro, the new raccoon companion in Stewards of the Valley, an explorer card in order to prevent me from running 4 companions? Are you proud of yourselves? Have you no shame?
No.
How dare you make me choose between Hokkaido and Toro?
Do you have to choose? Is this a binary choice? You can only have
they might be
Toro or
be
Pokodo?
expert.
Please pronounce Pokkaido.
I would say Pokodo.
I think it's just because they're in different they're in different specialties, and there's no vendor who can trade for them.
Toro is not expert, I believe.
There you go. Outside interest. That's raccoon.
True. Yeah.
If he was, and then we weren't even sure if he was, that would be even worse for SM Tilson. That we were just like, I don't
know. Well, we love animal companions, and let's just say that this is not the only animal companion that you'll be able to get going forward. Yeah, yes. There are plenty of animal companions yet to come.
Yes.
Yeah, you'll be able to completely fill your deck with stuff to clog the board.
That would be awesome. Like, I wonder by the end if we could just have like an all companions deck.
The Beastmaster.
It probably wouldn't be very good, but it could be pretty awesome to pull off.
Well, and like I do think part of the reason we do want to spread the love so that there are companions that synergize with all the different builds. So that's part of the reason we're spreading them out, not just dumping them all in Shepherd. Also, especially those early companions are a little overtuned due to several things we've talked about on this podcast before. So, and companions still are good usually. So spread the love, I guess.
Alrighty, next question.
Sound pretty proud of yourself, Fisher. You should be.
This one comes from Agundlachi. These new listeners, let us know how you pronounce Agundlachi. Cool name.
And
either way.
And if you and we're sorry for mispronouncing it. If it makes you feel any better, a longtime questioner will come up later, and I'm sure we'll still mispronounce his name even after 100 episodes.
It's probably the thing I get most nervous about every week when we start the show. Is he going to be questioning? All right. Why are there the 4 different aspects on the challenge cards in EBR? You're only ever doing a challenge for one suit, so you could just have one modifier per card. Extra variation?
Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing this come up in the chat.
Yeah, this is actually a classic question. We got this question a bunch during the very first Kickstarter when we were first debuting the game, actually. At the time, I mean, like, I think my main answer, there's a couple benefits it has. One is it does have some design space. We can do things like swapping effects that swap over to another modifier, right? And like, you could do a redraw, but then there's confusion about challenge effects, and you feel like now it has to give you like we have to specify use the first card's challenge effect, and so you're kind of splitting it. It's nice and simple here as we have some design space to let you modify or change the modifier, but you're still just drawing one card with one challenge effect. It also just helps a little bit with like that kind of card counting and keeping track of stuff. Obviously, you could go back and look at what's come up in the deck, but with 4 different modifiers on 4 different things all coming out, you kind of let it go until that critical moment where you might want to check how many -1s are sitting around. So those are our primary motivators there.
I do like the drama of it, because if oftentimes when I pull a challenge card, even if I see a -2 for a second, my brain has a second of going, oh no! I'm like, oh wait, it's fine. And I do like those moments of tension and excitement and like relief.
It's fun. You can look at what test you should have done instead of the test that you actually did.
Yeah.
And be like,
totally. Or like saying, oh man, I'm glad I didn't do that test.
Right, exactly.
Like I think there's a lot of like kind of intangible benefits to doing it the way we've done it.
Well, and there's also kind of an interesting effect this has when you start scouting the challenge deck. Something primarily shapers do is you can see that card, and maybe the test you want to do isn't good on that card, but a different test is. And so do I put that back and do the test maybe that I wasn't planning on, but that I know I'm going to get a good modifier for? And so that scouting becomes a lot more interesting. Whereas otherwise, if you're just scouting for what number is it, like, oh, it's a bad number, put it on the bottom, done. Whereas this is a little more interesting for those scout effects.
Yeah,
I think dynamic.
Yeah, totally. I think correct me if I'm wrong, Fisher, but I think like some of the conversation around this during the original crowdfunding campaign was about, design efficiency. Like the design efficiency champions out there were like, no, it's got to be like, it should just be one value. But I think I don't like there's definitely a school of thought that everything gets boiled down to its most efficient, plainest state. But that's I don't know. That's a different game, I think.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rangers is not a design efficient game by any definition, right? And purposefully so. Like there are rough edges and like weird effects. Like one conversation Maxine and I have on the regular is like, is this effect too weird? Does this stretch the rules too much? But I think the fact we're asking that means that like Maxine, you are pushing in the right directions, right? Because Rangers is trying to do those kind of weird, more narrative, more RPG-like effects in the card game. We're not trying to Eidalon is probably going to stick a lot more to clearly resolvable effects that like work in a competitive environment. Well, Rangers is trying to tell a really cool story.
Yeah. And one thing I've heard repeatedly from people who like my previous works is weird MJ is best MJ. So sorry.
I do like there's sometimes when we'll talk about a card and I'll be like, is that too weird? And you'll be like, well, I put a similar effect in Arkham, and I'll be like, that is in Arkham?
I've done weirder.
All right. Thank you, Agandlachi. Our next question comes from Grisamentum. I assume all backgrounds will have 2 expert cards, 1 quest card and 1 other card. Since we're getting closer, 6 weeks away, to shipping, I'm curious what non-quest Tailspinner card is expert and why.
The 6 weeks. I haven't heard the 6 weeks away meme in quite some time.
It's
a good callback. Good callback.
Tailspinner only has 1 expert card.
Yeah. I don't think it's a rule that all backgrounds have 2 expert cards. Like
we generally give expert to cards that, like, for one reason or the other, we don't want people splashing into other decks. Tailspinner really didn't have one. A lot of its strength comes from the synergy with tail effects, and so they're just I think Davi and I even talked about this when he was working on these cards. Is like we were kind of looking, is there a target for an expert trait, and we just didn't have one in the set, so it didn't get one. Besides, it's quest, quote unquote. It's the personal kind of objective card. does.
The aspiration.
All of those do. Yeah,
Yeah.
the aspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we could have made like the loot expert. Like you can't play the lute, but have the lute. You can play it poorly. That's fine.
Yeah. Anybody could play a lute.
That's
Doesn't
right.
mean people will like it.
All right. And that brings us to Hubworld Eidalon questions.
Deep in the mail. Now we're super deep in the mailbag.
Scraping the bottom.
Reach in there.
Should we split up the timestamps to divide these, or do we care?
Well, maybe. I don't know. We got a fair number of people, I think, who came on
All right.
for
Let's
Hubworld
do it.
Eidalon. They might want to.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I think
Skip
we
ahead,
should
I don't know.
let's timestamp them so that people can go to the questions for the game they care
Timestamped.
about.
Timestamped. Okay, Hubworld Eidalon questions. This one's from Harsha Praveen. Harsha Praveen.
Carpet
Harsha Praveen asks, for the Eidalon art, how is Evan achieving that watercolor look digitally? Is it Rebel? Is it Rebel?
No, it's not Rebel. It's just Photoshop. But Corey introduced me to Rebel, or at least he told me about it and explained its capabilities, and it sounds really cool. I think that program is specifically geared towards simulating a watercolor effect digitally, to the point where
Was that the one with like the mix where you could mix it on the page and you can also like tilt it and let it run down the
I think the
paper?
there's actually like
That's cool.
some sort of built-in mechanic for having the water carry the pigment with whatever way gravity is pulling the canvas or whatever, which sounds really cool, but also kind of like so many weird tools that it's intimidating. And I feel like I should explore it because I don't want to. I've used Photoshop for so long that I'm just like, I feel like my skills are gonna get all like fossilized, and it'll be hard to like, get limber with the new program. So no, I haven't, but I've been using Photoshop, and I've been using like a custom brush and digital paper texture set that we purchased, and it's been really, really cool. It's a really robust brush set. There's like at least 80 different brushes, I think, and a number of paper textures. And I've been approaching I mentioned this in the previous episode, I think, or at least I alluded to it, but I've been trying to like approach the digital watercolor treatment like traditionally, where I'm treating it as a very additive process, and I'm not like using a watercolor brush to erase stuff or add highlights. I'm like if a highlight is just the paper texture that hasn't been covered in like the digital pigment. So yeah, I'm it's been a fun little challenge.
Do you take an eraser to it at all to like bring out some highlights, or you just try to brush up to the
I do that because Corey, who's been doing his own watercolor explorations, he shared that really cool piece that Anders, you really liked last episode. I've been talking with him about trying to stay true to like a watercolor process, and at least in the back of my mind, and not cheat too much, even though like I'm not gonna like I'm not gonna do a poor job just because I'm trying to be like true to something. But Corey's told me that there are techniques where you can kind of scratch away the pigment, with an X-Acto knife. So when I learned that, I'm like, well, then maybe I can use an eraser, because it's like I'm doing that, except digitally. But I use like a really scratchy like brush or something that kind of looks.
You got to leave little
rough.
paper fibers on.
Yeah, exactly. So, but if I ever use Rebel, I'll report on its on its abilities and stuff. It looks really cool.
Cool. All right, next question comes from, here it is. Oh, I can just say Stygian. There we go. Stygian.
We know that's wrong.
Yeah.
Isn't that just the screen name, or is that his full name?
I believe it's his full name. He's
okay. Sten.
I think from like one of the Nordic countries, right?
Sten.
It's Stain. Stain?
Sten.
It's like He described it as like staying, but you kind of swallow it, you know?
Thing. So anyway, Sijan says it was mentioned. It was mentioned during the Eidolon Game Found that every set is actually a core set, and that's hard to design. How come? I thought that the game having no resource-based economy like Magic has actually creates a lot of design space.
Yeah, I thought this was a kind of an interesting question because it's one we talked about a bit.
This is something that I said, so I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's easy. Like it seems hard.
It's harder.
Oh, thank God! I do know what I'm talking about.
Well, so he kind of references the resource system, like Magic's typed resources versus our generics shards. That doesn't really have much to do with this problem. It does create some design space, though. Interestingly, a lot of design space comes out of limitations. Like limitations create design space to exception those limitations or break or bend those limitations in weird ways. So in many ways, more free systems can actually have less design space per se, as we kind of define it. There's you can argue that there's different types of design space and stuff, but we won't get into that now. Really, when Andrew's referring to a core set being hard to design, or every set being a core set being a hard design challenge, what it is like a game needs a certain footprint of different card types to play well. Imagine Magic with only sorceries, right? Like that game could exist. It could be kind of goofy and silly, but it wouldn't really feel like Magic, right? Magic needs all those different components. Similarly, Eidolon needs all these different pieces. And there's a lot of what you might consider staple cards, basic pieces of economy, basic obstacles that make Eidolon function. And so a core set, something that is standalone and you can buy, and that is the only thing you play, needs all of those staples and needs the other parts of the game in certain percentages to make it a cohesive, playable experience. Think about, like in a game like Netrunner, to draw that comparison, it is that core set that gets you those staples, but then it can release packs, and those packs don't need to have that kind of cohesion because you'll never play them on their own. They're just supplementing. So they can just be wild, zany cards that modify the core, whereas a core needs to have those basics. And this gets trickier when you're also then producing many of these, because now you have these questions about how do I fulfill all these staples and this balance every time? Do I reprint these cards? Well, we just printed them and sold them to you 6 months ago. We don't want to do that, but there's only so many ways to modify and remix these really basic effects, these staple effects. And so that creates these really interesting challenges, both from like a product design standpoint and like line design standpoint, and also a game design standpoint. And it can be kind of hard sometimes, like you don't want to remix something or you don't want to reprint something, but you need to because of the format of the core set.
Yeah,
go ahead, Maxine.
Interestingly, I would argue that Magic has a similar design quandary with each of their sets because they're designed to not be supported by previous ones, at least nowadays. So that's why you'll often see a lot of cards that are like, one black and one colorless to destroy a creature, but then like they're tweaked a little bit, like this one's slightly more, this one's 2 black, but it casts a wider net, and this one's a bit more specific, it can only target non-black creatures, you know what I mean? So but every set has to have a black instant that destroys a creature. Like it's in there, it's in every set.
You're gonna get the terror, you're gonna get the giant growth, you're gonna get the shock or lightning bolt.
Exactly.
Doomblade, yeah. But it's gonna usually you take the set's signature mechanic and you staple it onto these, and
right. Yeah.
So you get that set's version of that staple.
Yep.
I was gonna say, like, the question that I have is, do you think that we'll end up doing like the same mix of cards in every set, where we always have 24 agents, always have 8 seekers, always have 88 moments, etc.? Or do you think we'll you think there's much room to stray one way or the other in any of those groups per set?
That's
still have it work.
Ultimately, I think that's a question for Corey and Michael. But
I
would
exactly.
say that
I agree.
I think there are some kind of immutables, right? Like we need a certain mix of agents and seekers just to make 4 playable decks out of a set, right?
Yeah,
like
Mhm.
we're pretty tight
we need
on
at
that.
least 4 seekers, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that much.
And we're basically at the minimum number of agents right now. I could definitely see some of the other card types pushing and pulling a little bit, but right now we've got a nice spread of pip count and stuff. But especially, I think as we start exploring things like multicolor cards, like I don't think anybody would be shocked. I don't know if we mentioned that, but
it makes sense. Why would we make the system the way we did if we didn't open that up eventually?
Yeah, so I don't think we'll have our kind of perfect distribution every time as we start messing with things like that. So we'll get some that are a little lopsided in one way or the other, but you're probably not going to see the all 1 pip set or anything like that. That's like maybe too extreme.
Yeah.
Right.
Alrighty. Our next question comes from Stygian. Is it Stygian? Another one from Stygian. I feel like EBR is a reimagining of LCGs from your former employee. As a non-backer, and I don't know why he says that, it seems that Hubworld does a similar thing to deck construction games. How do you feel about this? And if my observation is true, is this something that's part of your company's philosophy?
Well, first, before Andrew probably takes this question, the reason he mentions he's a non-backer is because he is a avid solo gamer. He actually has, you can check out his channel, Stain Plays Solo, and Eidalon is not playable solo. So I don't know if I think he's very into Rangers. I'm not sure if we're going to convert him into a competitive card gamer.
Yeah, he did make Rangers his #1 cooperative game of all time.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
On the list recently. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Solo
the
game?
Least we could do is pronounce it right, Anders.
Yeah. I know.
Just tape a phonetic pronunciation right above your monitor.
I think one of those words that I said was the correct pronunciation, right?
He knows it's a bit.
It's actually not a bit. I have a hard time with it. And I usually don't. I don't know.
He gave himself the moniker staying the unpronounceable, so I think he's embracing the bit.
No, it's not part of our company's philosophy to like look at the past and try to reinvent it. I think it's just from my perspective, it's a just natural progression of problem solving. Like these are the style of games that I'm drawn to and excited about making. So we have a lot of experience making games and making card games. So and it's really no different, I think, from just going from like when we were at FFG, whenever we'd have a new game, we always approach it like, all right, what can we do better this time? Every single one of those games is like, all right, what can we do better? How can we improve upon the format? And especially when I was head of studio, LCGs were very beleaguered because of their beleaguered is maybe not the right word, more maybe like burdened by the release model, and a lot of they had a lot of baggage around them. Just because some of them got to be so gigantic with so many SKUs, and we had tons of feedback from our players about things they liked and didn't like about the release format. We tried out a bunch of different things for release. Some of it worked great, some of it didn't, and really it's just about improving and always trying to improve. So if we were primarily like a board game publisher, then we'd be doing the same thing with the board games, trying to learn the lessons that we were trying to implement the lessons that we learned from our previous outing. So to me, it's all that I feel like I'm doing is I'm just living my life and making things, and and I was involved with those projects pretty intimately, so I know a lot of the decisions that went into making them, and I'm just using that knowledge to try to do what we do better. Whether or not it'll be better in the end, we'll find out. But this is, I think, at least with Hubworld Eidalon, I think it's an experiment worth embarking upon, and I'm excited to see if this release model for a competitive LCG style game will land with people, and will create a healthy competitive environment as the game goes on over the years. So we'll find out.
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Maxine.
Oh, sure. I mean, we might be about to say the same thing. Who knows? But I think it's also pretty normal for designers and for games to like wear their inspirations on their sleeve, so to speak. It's actually, I'll maybe talk a little bit more about this later, but I recently picked up my copy of Daggerheart, and on the very first page, it's like, here's all the games that we were inspired by, which included like the Genesis system and like a bunch of other, and of course D&D and like a bunch of other role-playing games. And I think it's great.
That's cool. They called out Genesis?
Yeah, they do. They actually do a special
awesome.
thanks section, and one of the special thanks is special thanks to Fantasy Flight Games for the Genesis system.
Awesome.
Because that inspired their hope and fear mechanic.
I love Genesis.
Very cool.
It's awesome. That's
very cool.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that Rangers is pretty. You can like really draw some comparisons between Arkham and Rangers, especially with after some of the repackages Arkham did. I'd argue that with Eidalon, its release model is more akin to a standard CCG model, just released in a box instead of as booster packs.
Yeah.
And I think it's closer to that than it is to a lot of FFG's competitive LCGs. I think our history makes that a touch point, but like really we're just our game is sold like Pokemon or Magic, as if they just printed those sheets and never did any collation into booster packs and just popped it in a box and sent it to you, right?
Yeah.
That's how our game is structured.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
So we should be charging like $400.
Just every so often a whole box will be a dud. Just
This is empty. Just a bunch of blank cards.
No, Andrew. We just
that one's worth the most because there's fewer of them.
We slap collector on it.
Yeah.
We make some of them foil, and then we charge $400.
We'll see if there's enough. If people want that, we can always make it. That'd be pretty easy.
Comment below if you want that. Okay. All right. Next question comes from good old Greg H. When I play Netrunner, I'm an anarch who's going to install malware and incite riots, or a corp with an orbital cannon and a mining operation. But I'm having a harder time marrying the mechanics and theme with Eidalon. So my question for the pod is, when the EBG team sits down to play, what stories are you telling?
I thought this was an interesting question. I think that one thing I'll say is that I think you'll see the theme kind of calcify more as you see more cards and more art, especially. I think the art really brings the theme together, and the preview decks you see are just a collection of a bunch of mechanics to help you see what the game has to offer, but they're not decks that are built around a synergy. A lot of those cards are themed together, and so as you see decks that are built more competitively, I think you'll see more thematic cohesion and stories really start to start kind of coming into picture a lot more than you're seeing with just the preview decks. But to more directly answer your question about what kind of stories we see, I think even if you go watch the 4-player playcast we talked about, I am playing as Jaco, and I start delving on Rob, and Rob has this orange deck with OmniWorks deck that has all sorts of these cards having to deal with like their canals and things. And then he plays this stupid card,
the flooded thoroughfare, right?
Flooded thoroughfare that like has a higher barrier value when it's forged. And then he keeps playing them and keeps unforging it and reforging it on me. So it, like I end up delving on him like 4 times. And you can just picture these OmniWorks because like this is less, it's less cyberspace and more physical, like what's happening in the city, right? Like we're going through the streets of Eidalon, and the OmniWorks people are just like
they're like, hey, look, he's trying
again. As I run down these different streets, and and then like another wave of water comes through, and I'm just cursing to myself as my poor lizard is washing away. And so these kind of it's moments like that, and I think some of that's going to come through more when you see more art, right? Because a lot of that was just with our kind of generic filler art cards.
Yeah. The art will go a long way toward, I think, helping sell the idea. But like for the things assigned for the art for the cards that are going to be on the table, we're going to try to do something very similar to Rangers, where we're not going to be doing like a lot of action scenes with those pieces. Those are going to be more standalone objects or locations or characters, so that that art itself will help inform the story, but isn't necessarily telling the story. The story is the delve in your process through that. And then we'll have more of the kind of narrative moments on the moment cards that have actual like more action happening and then show more of a narrative. But yeah, like Fisher was saying, it's more physical than Netrunner. Where like Netrunner was always kind of like I'm not like when you're the runner, you're at your rig and you're jacked in and you're doing stuff, and then when you're not doing that, you kind of have your group of people that you're calling in for favors or what have you. And as the corp, you have it really was, I don't know, I always struggled a little bit with like really thematically like what the corp is actually doing, but essentially just laying out giant servers.
I was spinning the news, Andrew. I don't know.
That's right. That's right. Well, yeah, but to that point, though, I think like that's where a lot of the theme comes through is in the individual, not only the affiliations, but the individual seekers. A lot of the theme, I think, comes through that personality. I think almost more so even than a Netrunner, or at least just as much. Where what you're doing in the game and what you're imagining happening in the game can really be informed by your seeker and how you've built your deck. Like when I built this latest deck that I was playing against my son, like just the process of building the deck, I did a half collective, half old Eidalon deck. And just the process of building that deck was like telling a little story about like my seeker's connections. And it was kind of cool to think of them being in this kind of like middle space between these two things and using that to their advantage. I think once you actually get in and start playing the full game, I think hopefully it'll come to life for you.
The other big thing that'll, like we're with this first set, the first couple sets, we're going to be kind of establishing the setting, right? And then once we have this world of Eidalon more established, you can start kind of layering onto it, exploring different parts of it, having kind of events occur in it. And that, I think, adds a lot of depth to the world, too. So I think give it time. I think you'll see some of that develop.
Cool. Okay, thanks for your questions, everybody. We have a few more great questions that we'll get to next time. I think it's time to wrap it up with some things we're into. The moment you've all been waiting for. What is the host of that podcast about the game I like into?
I want to know.
Yeah, your indie corner has kind of developed into a whole segment. It has its own Discord channel.
It does,
Like,
but I feel like a sham because I haven't played a lot of games lately.
Yeah, I feel like
Okay,
that's
you
been the
always
case for maybe 3 or 4 months. You've been saying that now.
I know. I've my interests have veered off into more creative pursuits. So when I'm doing that, I don't play games as much. And I think there really hasn't been much out that really piques my interests.
Mm-hmm.
But today, actually, my most anticipated game came out.
Monster Train 2, right?
Yep, Monster Train 2. I played about an hour of it before this, and it's great. It's great. I wonder if the reviews will make any of you try it finally.
So
I downloaded. I downloaded the demo, but
Okay.
I have not. I never booted it up. I'm sorry, Anders.
Maybe when you see someone else say it's good, you'll try it. I think it's going to be really. It's going to take. I think I'm going to put hundreds of hours into that. I can tell already. All new clans, 5 new clans, everybody. But I do have something to. I am into something a lot in every category of entertainment. So I'm just going to list them off. So Monster Train 2 is my video game. Also, by the way, when Switch 2 comes out in a couple weeks, I'm going to have a lot to say.
Did you get a pre-order in? Oh, that's right. You talked about this on the last episode.
did.
A little bit.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
So I'm going to be picking that up a couple weeks. Movie. This movie called Companion. Has anybody seen that?
No.
I've heard of it.
It's like an A24 kind of weird movie. I watched it at the end of a night of trying to find something to watch, and everything was just too slow and boring. And this just, if you want just like a popcorn fun movie, it's like an hour and 20 minutes. It's great.
Wow.
Don't even read the description of it. The description of it on Netflix or wherever it was
Kind of ruins it, right?
spoils it.
Mm.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
read anything.
Oh, really?
Is this the
Yeah,
best?
that's why I haven't
Was
watched
for
it,
me.
because I heard about it. I'm like, well, it kind of gives it all away. Like, now I feel like there's no point to watching this thing.
Worth watching, even if you know, because I knew, but
Okay.
it's still worth watching. Okay.
Okay.
Companion's cool. The Rehearsal. I love The Rehearsal on HBO.
Started
I think
watching
that's-
that.
Oh, is that the Nathan? What's its name? Nathan Fielder show?
Yes.
It's wild.
I don't know if I can. I don't know if I can handle that. I don't know if I can handle that kind of
It
awkwardness.
is. It is kind of intense.
I don't know if this one is as awkward as his older stuff. It's really brilliant, and it's got some really, some genius moments.
When I saw Rehearsal in the notes, I thought maybe you were in a play.
I am rehearsing for a music show. I will be playing a gig
Really?
sometime in the near future.
Oh.
So
Oh,
Nice.
really?
Where?
with the band,
awesome.
We'll have to show up there.
Yeah.
come see
Yeah,
my
yeah.
band.
Yeah, make sure you let us know when and where that is.
Okay, yeah, I'm excited. Band is sounding great. I'm playing keyboards for the first time in the band and singing,
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
and it's really fun.
Oh, you're singing too?
That's cool.
I always sang. I used to sing and play bass live, but I started playing piano, so it's new and
Awesome.
exciting. Yeah,
Awesome.
and then a jam with the band led us to somehow we started playing some Pink Floyd songs, because you're just jamming and having fun. And so now I'm really into Pink Floyd. So that's another
Nice.
thing I'm really into. I always have been, but I'm just diving back in. And I'm also reading a book. Come on, guys. Aren't you gonna
What's your book?
What
clap?
book?
Yay!
Waldo, is it?
Ooh.
Yeah. Fuck
Is
you.
it like
man.
is it like a Garfield collection or?
It's actually a Far Side gallery. Far Side. No, it's George Saunders' book called Liberation Day. I don't know if you've ever read George Saunders. Usually does short stories.
Yes, I know him.
The first and second story in this one are pretty amazing. Highly recommend it. Liberation Day. That's it. Those are my things. Is there any other area of entertainment that I missed? Plays.
Anders, have
Theater.
you
What's
have
that?
you heard the new Sleep Token album?
Mm-mm. I'd never heard of Sleep Token.
Good. Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
I can't get into it. Maybe I should give him another try. I have difficulty with Sleep Token.
What kind of music?
Try
is
the
it?
new album. It's
Post metal.
Yeah. It's like metal
music?
adjacent.
Post music.
Post
No, it's
music.
still musical. It's still musical.
Let's take a look at the Discord record here. Maxine has 78 tracks played by Sleep Token this
Oh
week.
my goodness! Wait,
Wow.
can you see that?
They look like
They show like little Spotify stats. It'll show like what you guys are listening to, and
That's awesome.
it looks like a character from.
Don't worry, I don't
Ring.
creep on people's stats. I don't even know how to access that info.
it's just right
It's just
there.
displaying it to me.
Yeah. Like I don't want to know what Sleep Token she's listening to, but I know.
It doesn't show up for me. Oh, it's weird.
Oh really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, here, I'll post a screenshot of what it looks like.
Yeah, like Anders, yours
That's
says
funny.
you listened to 3 Enya tracks this week.
I did actually.
Yeah, the internet doesn't lie. That's
I thought
that's
that was
fact.
a joke at first.
Yeah.
That's why I laughed.
The
I love
internet never lies.
Yeah, where does it show up?
It's like in the upper right hand corner.
It's
like
in the members
for
list.
Each channel, in the members list, it'll say it'll have a little thing.
Does it share? Do I show up there? I'm always embarrassed about my musical taste. I try to
I
hide
just don't
what I'm
link
doing on
my-
Spotify.
Yeah, I don't link my
I don't
Spotify
even have
to
Spotify, so-
Discord.
I just have like a free music player. Now it's like a Winamp essentially, but it's not that.
It really kicks the llama's ass. If you know, you know.
I know that.
Is that what it was? Kicks the llama's ass?
Something like that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. That's what I'm into. I'll listen to Sleep Token, the Elden Ring character. Is that what they look like? Well, the way this person looks.
Oh yeah, they wear like costumes in their live shows.
Yeah,
Cool.
they're like a more refined Slipknot.
I was
They're
going to
like
say.
fancier outfits.
Oh, so they're kind
More
of like.
coordinated. They're more coordinated.
Mm.
Oh yeah, that costume. That's
Kind of
could be in
ghost,
40K
kind of
right
ghost
there.
like. They're like
pretty
ghost
cool.
adjacent in their look. I think.
The music's very like moody and dark and kind of gothy.
Yeah, Ghost.
I like
Ghost seems a tad more flamboyant than them.
They're more of a
Kiss.
half Windsor knot or something.
Are you looking up knot types?
Because I know four in hand and like that doesn't work, so I had to look up another one.
Yeah, it was like they had like a professional graphic designer like get their whole stage presence down. It's very coordinated. It looks they look, you know.
No,
Sleep
a
Token?
former FFG art
Monsters.
director listens to a lot of Sleep Token, and I would see a lot of that on Instagram, but the music doesn't. I don't know. It's not my thing, I guess.
No, I agree.
That's fair.
I need to try it again though. Like I only listened to it once, like one day. Like you never like sometimes you listen to a music and you're like,
Yeah, that's true.
just that day it doesn't quite hit, and then you
Sure.
never go back.
Yeah, or like
Weirdly,
that.
And you'll go back to it later, and it's awesome.
Sometimes if I hear
Or
a
vice versa.
song, it doesn't do anything for me. But if I see the music video, for some reason, something triggers.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And then I like it. I
Interesting.
don't know.
Interesting.
Something
Yeah.
clicks, like the way the
Yeah.
person looks. Or are there any bands that you've tried to get into over and over again because you think you should like them?
I really kept trying to get into Pavement.
Oh yeah, that's when I also try to get into them like once a year. Can't do it. I try Fish a lot,
Yep.
but I hate that band. I've decided. They suck. They just suck.
Shots fired.
I remember I
It's not
lived
really. Go
I
ahead.
lived near McAllister, and a lot of McAllister kids used to play Fish at the bar.
Just a bad band. It's bad.
I think in the early '90s, like when they were first kind of reaching their peak of, or their, I don't know if it was the peak, but when they crept into popular culture,
Yeah.
with I think the Hoist album.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. Like 1993, 94.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were like pretty cool time and place band for me. They was in college at the time, so
Yeah.
I like Real Big Fish though.
I was just about to
say.
Okay, what else? What is everyone else into? Evan? Or who's
I think
up?
I'm next on the list. Mine, I know Maxine is probably going to jump in on
I'm gonna
here.
piggyback. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been kind of on and off doing runs of this little game. I don't know, not many people have been talking about it on the internet, but
Just sure.
So you might not have heard of it. It's called Blueprints.
Is that a pun?
No, it is.
It is.
And a pun that took me embarrassingly long to realize.
I just realized it right now.
Same here. Yeah, same
you just need to say it out loud, and then you immediately get it. I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I was reading about it, because everybody online has been talking about it, if you didn't catch my sarcasm, for the last few weeks. So I have rolled credits, but definitely not like seen everything. I don't feel like I've completed the game really, even though I've gotten to the ostensible end. It's been very interestingly divisive. There's people are very hot or cold on it. Is it too random? Because I guess for those of you who haven't had it plastered all over your social media, it is a puzzle game, but it's also a roguelike. And so you're kind of exploring this mansion that it's magical mansion that redoes its layout every day. And every time it's kind of on this grid, and every time you walk through a door, it spawns one of three random rooms, or it spawns three random rooms. You choose which of those three that's going to go in this spot. Mm-hmm. And you have to lay out the mansion in such a way that you get to this elusive 46th room. And exactly how you do that is uncovered through all of these kind of cryptic, sometimes obtuse puzzles that are scattered throughout these randomized rooms. And at first it seems like there's almost nothing there, and then all these layers kind of uncover, and it's a bit like Myst or something.
Yeah.
It's just there's always more and more and more, and these deeper and deeper puzzles, and anything you see as you walk through and you think, oh, does that mean something? It probably does. Everything you see in the game is actually some little bit of a puzzle that you're going to need the 26 other pieces to even start realizing what that puzzle is. So it's super smart and super fascinating, but there's a lot of people who the randomized nature of it means that there can be runs that are just duds, or you might know the answer to something and not be able to manifest the solution to that one singular puzzle. Even though there's 20 other puzzles going on, you might really want to manifest the answer to this, but you're not getting the randomized rooms for it. So that frustration has led a lot of people to sour on it. So I feel like it's very 10-1.
Yeah, I'm a roguelike veteran, so that doesn't bother me as much. I'm used to having failed runs and just going okay, right into the next one. But what I love about Blueprints is it's kind of like an onion. It has so many different layers, and you can engage with it on a surface level and still have fun. Just having the strategy of picking out which room and trying to lay out the mansion in a good way. But if you look deeper, there's so much more, it kind of gives back whatever you put into it. And so I've been playing with my partner. Actually, we sit down and we just play side by side, and we just, make decisions together. And it's been really fun.
Cool.
It's definitely the kind of game you need to take copious notes and things if you really want to do it right,
Yeah.
There's there's the obvious puzzles that resolve really fast. There's the puzzles where you can kind of see the pieces coming together. You just need to find all the pieces. But then there's the layers where it's you have to be tracking the story and the family tree and what everybody looks like and who's appearing in what picture and who you think the room belongs to, and that ends up being relevant to certain things. It's
wild.
It gets very deep.
So do you have to repeat puzzles?
There are a lot of puzzles that are permanent and will unlock something permanently. that you don't have to redo. Usually if there's like a safe with a code or something and you put in the code and open it, like you're good. You don't need to do that again. Yeah.
There are a few simple puzzles that show up within a room, like a logic puzzle, and those are designed to be randomized, which is kind of cool. Where they actually get harder every day where you see them, they get more challenging. And so you get like these new permutations on them that get weirder and weirder. But those are very surface level puzzles. When we talk about most of the puzzles, they span the whole game. So it's like, and those you won't be repeating those. It'll be a puzzle. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but that will require you to like, there'll be a thing in every room and a piece of information will give that thing new meaning. And now you need to like place all these different rooms and record how it's different in each room so that you can like solve this grander puzzle, or you need to lay out the rooms in a very specific way to contrive something to happen. And so it's figuring out that you even have to do these things in the first place and then properly executing them on a very like the whole mansion level. So a lot of the puzzles aren't repeated. They are like whole game shaped. They're like campaign layer shaped, you know?
That reminds me, I just watched a YouTube video about a book that was published in 1985 called Maze. I have the wiki over here. Maze, Solve the World's Most Challenging Puzzle. And it's a picture book. And each page is like a room in a maze that has 3 hallways that you can choose. And it's like a choose your own adventure. And the challenge is to go from room 1 to room 45 in only 16 steps and then back to room 1 or something. And there's all these, each room on each page is like a detailed illustration with clues and things. I think maybe even the cover of it might have clues. Like there might be clues all over the book. And there was a prize, like a cash prize for anyone who could prove that they did it in that amount of steps. I'm sure it's
you've just described the mechanics of blueprints.
Really?
They almost certainly got it from that.
That's hilarious. Maybe
cool.
that's why it popped up in my feed, because it's been, circulating, because
your steps are like you're effectively like you have a limited number of steps, or you run out of steps and the run's over.
Well, everyone's got a limited amount of steps.
Yeah, so it looks like
very true.
On a quick Google, I think it is a direct inspiration. Actually,
nice.
Well, I'm gonna get
that's cool, Evan.
That's really cool.
Like just from my description.
The book was better. That's such an Evan book there. I love the
illustrations are really fun.
Okay, enough talk of blueprints. Who's next? Who next?
I think Evan is next.
Oh,
yeah, you're the host. You tell me.
Oh yeah, there's a list. I forgot. Evan.
All right. Well, I've been playing Oblivion Remastered still and really enjoying it. I'll only really talk about the fun Bethesda like game mechanics or whatever that I've been encountering, because I haven't fully played this game before. But early on, when you start playing the game, one of the first side quests you can do is like you can become a pit fighter in the arena at Cyrodiil, and I just skipped it. And at around level 15, I went back to it to try it. But all of your enemies level up with you, and I was only leveling up like rogue skills, like speechcraft and like sneaking. So I just got worked. But the
classic.
Yeah. But I got fixated on it because I get really obsessive about things like that. I think I mentioned way back when I used to play like Grand Theft Auto 3 online, I would always go for the highest ranked player nonstop just to try to get him once, even though it was like impossible because I just would fixate on it. Anyways,
did you play GTA 3 online?
Yeah. I just
really
not very long, or maybe 4. Maybe it was 4.
4. I think you're probably thinking of 4.
Yeah. Anyways, so I discovered that because I have these leveled up like rogue skills, I have a higher jump. I think I have a higher jump than a player who was more like a fighter. So I discovered if I jumped on this brazier right away and then jumped onto this high ring of spikes that you're not really supposed to get to, if I did it just right, I could just sit there and just snipe like every single opponent until they dropped.
Awesome.
And it just felt really.
That's such an Oblivion thing.
It felt it felt bad at first, but then I just kind of liked it. But then when I became arena champion, then I unlocked this ability to fight monsters instead of just regular human opponents. And I was like, I tried to work my whole scheme again, but I chose to fight not just one but 3 minotaurs at once because I was so overinflated in my tactics. And I learned that the minotaurs are like much taller than, so they could just instantly killed me. But I've been having a lot of fun. It's a cool game.
Awesome.
Is that what those games are like? Just kind of figuring out ways to kind of.
There's some, if you want to play that way, there's a lot of goofy aspects to like Skyrim in that game that you can exploit. In fun ways.
Yeah, I remember I had to defeat like it was like I had like something in Oblivion where like I don't know if I crossed paths with some like vampire lord or something. I have no idea like where this character came from, but like out of the blue it just started like chasing me across the entire world. When I played it like, ages ago, like 20 years ago. I guess not 20. Has it been 20 years? Almost.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Almost 20 years. And I had to do a very similar thing. I had to get up onto a boulder. I had to find a boulder that it couldn't survive. It couldn't get up the boulder, so I could like shoot it until it died. Because I couldn't do anything. It kept like chasing after me.
Okay, let's move on to Maxine.
All right. So we already talked about Blueprints. The other game that I've been playing lately is Expedition 33, which is incredibly good.
So I've heard.
Yeah. I won't talk long about it though, because I want to get onto the other thing that I'm into right now. So I'll talk about Expedition 33 next week. But what I'm really excited about is I got my copy of Daggerheart.
I didn't notice it there on the shelf next to you.
It's so cool.
You're a super fan,
much.
Right?
I really am now. Like we started playing it almost like let's just try it out. Like let's see how it goes, because it was in beta at the time. It's not cooperating. It was in beta at the time when we started playing, and we've fallen in love with it. Like I don't want to play D&D anymore. I just want to substitute Daggerheart. It's really flexible. It's very cinematic. It has like lots of different settings that you can choose from, but you can also just work in your own setting. It's very easy to reflavor things to be kind of how you want for your setting. To the point where I also got my copy of Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt, which is a 5th edition supplement. It looks super cool.
Shiny.
Very shiny.
So shiny. And I also got that, and I was hoping to play that. And I'm just gonna use Daggerheart. Like I'm just gonna port everything over into Daggerheart. So yeah, game is officially launched. I would definitely check it out if you're a tabletop RPG fan. I think it's great.
I think
it's really great.
Is it released in stores?
I don't know if it's released for retail. I think they just did a big pre-order. But you can also find it digitally, like Drive Through RPG.
I don't do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So I'm sure it'll be in stores eventually, but I don't think
I'm
it
sure
is,
there's
like,
a way
currently.
I can order it on the internet. I would be shocked if there's not.
I think they're doing.
It looks like you can get it in store.
You can.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
It says participating guild stores will be hosting launch events starting May 20th. So.
Sweet.
Oh wow, that was yesterday.
Yeah, it literally launched yesterday. I got my copy a couple days ago, but they already have a thing called The Void, which is like their open playtest material. So they just have something where you can just download playtest material and submit feedback whenever you want. And so they already have 2 new classes available for testing. So yeah, that's super cool.
Yes, you can buy it now on the Critical Role shop.
Nice.
I have to imagine they've got it at the source, right?
Probably.
They have everything.
Got it at the source.
They
Yeah,
have everything there. Yeah.
Probably not a ton of copies, but I'm sure they have it there.
All right. Head on down to the source.
If you live in Minneapolis.
The source, comics and games.
That's
All right.
Institution.
Yes. Andrew, founder and creative director. What the heck are you into?
So I like Maxine. I will preview what I'll be talking about next episode. Hopefully, as I've been continuing to play Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think I'm at like over 100 hours. I'm at like 110 hours or some crazy number. It's the only thing I've been playing for the last couple months, but I won't get into it yet. I'll give my full review once I finish it. This is a very long game. But I recently watched the second season of Andor on Disney Plus, the Star Wars show. Did you watch the first season, Anders? Did you watch Andor at all?
I watched the first episode last week.
Oh,
and I thought it was very boring.
There are people who do share that opinion. I think it's what did you say, Fisher? It's like 1 or a 10 with Blueprints. I think people feel that way about Andor too.
I assume it gets more interesting, but I just thought the characters I'm like, all this money went into this, and this is such a boring storyline happening. That's what I felt. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if you're not at all intrigued by the opening, at least I would say like the first 3 episodes, because it's kind of the first 3 episodes of the series are an arc. A lot of those episode divisions in the first season are very arbitrary. In the second season, they leaned into that more, where they released it in 3 episode batches over 4 weeks. And each clutch of 3 episodes was one arc, like one full story.
Yeah, it's practically just a movie at this point. Like,
it was like 4. It was like 4 movies effectively that they released. And every time I watched them,
I'm only halfway through.
Oh, you started?
Of the first season or the second?
Obviously. Oh yeah, first seson or second season, Fisher? Second
season. Yeah.
Obviously, I won't give away any. I won't do any spoilers or anything. But so if you think of it that way, as like if it doesn't get you by the 3rd episode, then I would say you're probably not going to be very interested in this show. But I think
I want to like it.
Yeah, well, I think what I really enjoy about Andor in the first season, and it's the same thing in the second. Well, I think they really build upon the first season. But what I really liked about it is that it took its time. So like, while some people feel that's boring, like I felt the slower moments and like the kind of the long, like drawn out shots of the sets, like they really spent a lot of, like you said, they spent a lot of money on this show, and it's there, like it's really on the screen. So I think a lot of those shots are just like getting their money's worth of all the physical sets that they built, and all the costuming they did, and all the cool like tech bits that they created. But I think the second season really, it feels like all the character development, all the work they did, all those actors, and all the writers and the director, everything that they did in that first season really pays off in the second season, where the actors, I think, really have a really great sense of who their characters are. And because the way they structured the season with like these 3 episode groups, in between each of them is a year time jump. So in addition to getting the characters really kind of coming into their own in the second season as a whole, you also get to see them develop over the course of 4 years, and to see how they grow and change. And that's really awesome. So I think, if you watch the first season of Andor, if you're listening to this, you watch the first season of Andor, wondering if the second season is worth watching. Definitely, if you liked it, definitely. If you didn't like the first season of Andor because you thought it was slow and boring, I don't think the second season is really going to change your mind. There are definitely some like really high drama moments in the second season that I think massive payoffs. that I think are really, really phenomenal. But I really appreciate it because I feel like it's the like, so Rogue One for me, like when I first saw it, like I was like, yeah, it's all right. But as time has gone on and Disney's done more things, like I've really come to appreciate Rogue One a little bit more, kind of the same way where I appreciate the prequels even more.
Prequels,
because of what we've gotten over the past few years. But I really like Rogue One now, like way more than I did when it first came out, because it is very competently done and very thoughtfully done. And Andor's similar in that way. But I think one of the things I really love about Andor, like no spoilers at all, is like the tech. There's so much fun Star Wars tech in this show. Like this analog, like lots of wires and plugs and dials and like.
Okay, you got me. Yeah, let me keep watching. I don't know why that made me interested.
You got me with dials.
Yeah, it's so rich.
Plugs,
it makes the world feel so rich and alive, and like cool. It feels like it feels like the things that they're using actually function. Yeah, it's so the production value is just incredible. I think
I've never fawned over a transmitter with like 3 buttons and a blinking light before.
Yeah,
like, wow,
it's very cool though. Yeah, it's so awesome. Yeah, I think they went really hard on it in the second season. There's a lot of it in the first season too, because I just started watching the first season again with Sebastian, and that's been fun to go back to. But I really like it. And I think it's. I don't know. We'll see if we get anything kind of like it again. But I really hope. I hope that they do. There's no way they're going to make their money back on this thing. So I hope they don't like throw the baby out with the bathwater with Andor. I wish they would do more things like Andor and less things like what we've gotten. So we'll see what happens down the road. I don't really know what's next for Star Wars. I guess we have the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming. I don't. That's probably going to be a Dave Filoni. What's the word I'm looking for? All Filoni all the time. I think it's gonna be very referential, and you're gonna have to bring your Star Wars encyclopedia to that movie. I think to really get a lot out of it, but we'll see. But anyway, Andor, very good. I really enjoyed it. I like it when we get good Star Wars, so it was nice to get that again.
And I know this is easy retrospectively, but the way it meshes with the movie is really great too. It's just very satisfying.
Yeah. I think that like someone I was watching a YouTube channel talking about it, and they were the panel was split. Like some people hated it, some people loved it, and like I think I'll be curious because Sebastian hasn't seen Rogue One, and we're gonna just go right into Rogue One. And one of the things that was brought up is like if people start with Andor and then go into Rogue One, then be like, why? Who's this? Who's Jin? Like, why? Why isn't Andor the main character? Like, why is Andor a side character in this?
I've also heard that like they transition into each other well. You can kind of tell that Rogue One was made long before Andor. That like going from Andor season 2 into it. Somebody I know likened it to watching through all of Better Call Saul and then going back to Breaking Bad. And like the storytelling gets so refined and so deep, and then you go back and it's a little like it's still good, but it's a lot more like simplistic. Yeah.
In your mind, you just have to be like, well, the stress on Cassian's shoulders has aged him 8 years. And then when he starts Rogue One, he just feels so revitalized by the promise of.
He got that Bacta face cream, and it really took a decade off.
With that, I think we should wrap it up. You all, we're at 149.49. Perfect. We did it again. Thanks for joining us, everybody. It was good talking to you all, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Go to UK. Go to the UK.
That's right. Visit us at our booth in the UK.
Bye.
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 Bye.